I know Erin is going to be meeting with the business manager groups to talk more about the per diems and what that means for each of you. So be looking for him on the agendas there, and he'll give some more specific updates. If you're not familiar with it, we were able to work and get some of those increased so that the reimbursement rates are a bit more in line with the cost of today, although I'm sure there is still room for improvement there. We're just happy that we were able to move the mark. We're still working through a number of updates with university payables and corporate card and things of that nature. And I think we'll get some of those updates a little bit later. But most importantly, we just want you to know that we're here. If you need anything, please always feel free to reach out. Our doors are always open. I think if you guys haven't experienced already, we're always available and accessible. So if you have any problems or concerns, please don't ever hesitate to reach out. We're here for you and happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Casey. We do always appreciate that your office, you and Erin regularly take the time to be available to us for this group and provide all of the updates. I guess there's I just saw something in the chat. There's an AI assistant that's helping. Okay, sorry, I got distracted by that. Next up, we have some Chrome River updates from Melissa Plotner from University Payables.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. So as Casey alluded to, we finally have the GSA rates promoted to full working production in Chrome River. And I do apologize for any sort of confusion that may have happened in the beginning. There was some other questions that came up from other institutes of higher education about how we were going to implement this process. And then once the state actually posted the rules, we removed the quarter system. So please be patient with us as we work through this transition, but I hope this will be a great improvement for everyone and actually make the process a little bit easier for those of you that are entering expense reports for your travelers or even for yourself. We continue to work through different enhancements requests that have come through the customer advisory group. We're working closely with AITS to try to make some changes, get the paid information back into Chrome River. So not only will you be able to see the TE number, but hopefully sometime in the new fiscal year, you'll also be able to see payment date, payment amount, check number. And then we have a few things that we are working on as far as field additions to Chrome River, and I'm sure Stacy or Zach or Brian will touch on those when we get into the policy updates, that we need to wait for those policies to be effective before we add those fields. But one more exciting announcement is that Chrome River has released a new application that replaces their CR Snap app that they had before. So this is a much easier app to use to take a picture of your receipt. It will automatically upload it into your e-wallet. There was a communication that came out about that. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to University Payables. I'll be happy to forward those communications to you or answer any questions that you might have. But that's all I have for today, unless anybody has any specific questions. All right, with that, Stacy, I will turn it back over to you and thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Melissa. So next I'm going to turn things over to Brian to provide some updates from the Business and Finance Policy Office. So take it away, Brian.
Thank you, Stacy. So currently in progress, we have 8.1.1 business meals, which is still undergoing final evaluation prior to its publication. The revised policy, as we've discussed previously, is further going to clarify the policy language and provide greater detail of the business meals standards as it applies to university-specific applications. The usual publication announcement will be sent prior to its publication, so there will be some update if that happens in the interim between now and our next meeting. Headquarters and travel status, which we've also discussed previously in section 15, is also in its final stages. The decision was recently made to make this a fully formatted and numbered policy, as opposed to the sort of informational page that exists right now in the policy manual due to the substance of the new content. This policy is going to allow units to provide reimbursement at the unit's discretion to fully remote employees that travel to campus or other approved locations. The requirement for system-paid university travel insurance when traveling internationally is still on hold while the individual university application portals are set up, but if anything happens between now and then, you will certainly see a publication announcement, and if we're still in process, I will, at our next month's meeting, I will mention it then as well. Turning to our open comment blog, some of you may have attempted to provide input on 811 relocation assistance and 811.1 one-time moving payment to the employee. Our apologies, but a technical issue prevented the comment system from working properly, and efforts are still underway to resolve the underlying issue. If the issue cannot be resolved soon, the policy office prepared a survey to attach to that blog entry and possible future blog entries if this does not get resolved, in order to provide an opportunity for you to respond and for the open comment and entry process. The disadvantage to this, and we do apologize, is that you will not see all of the open comment entries from other individuals. So as I mentioned, we still are at work, but we have a temporary solution in place if this issue continues. And then finally, Section 16 grants and research contracts has fully completed its evaluation process and was published earlier this week. Upcoming, we have Section 5 receivables and 13 accounting that have completed their first phase of review and will also be made available for open comment. And at this time, I'm happy to take any questions if there are any. And again, you can always contact myself, Stacy, or Zach Langheim if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, for those updates. And speaking of updating policies and the website, we're now going to hear from Philippe and Derek regarding the new business and finance website that went live.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Stacy, and thank you for joining us for this another business and finance website agenda item on a BMG meeting. And this time it's our last time presenting on to this group about business and finance website development, because we are now live. The website is live, and I'm sure that many of you received the communication. Many of you here attended our unveiling sessions. So thank you for that, and thank you for your feedback. So those of you who attended the sessions will understand the website already. I will share my screen, and for those of you who haven't had a chance to see the website, I'll very quickly just show it to you. It's available on busfin.uillinois.edu, Busfin for Business and Finance, and you will notice that the website here is categorized by 6 different categories, which encompass everything that you used to see on OBFS website. So accounting and budgeting, buying and contracts, paying people, travel, equipment management, and payments to the university. All of this is currently encompassing everything that you used to have on OBFS website. So Derek, in a second, will go over how content pages are organized, but you will see that on this landing page. You also have a applications drop down, the same one that you all loved on OBFS website, that lets you take and access applications very quickly. We redesigned it so it looks better and it provides access for you right away, so you can access those applications. Also, everything that you receive through business and finance news feeds here to this card. So all of the new articles come right here, and you can click on them right away, and it will take you to the business and finance news application where you can stay, or you can simply come back to the OBFS website. So that's the landing page. I encourage you all to explore this and browse through it. You will also notice the search feature, and Derek will talk about search functionality as well. But please go through the website. I'm sure that you will find all the content that you need very quickly on this. The final thing I want to touch upon is the who to ask. Those of you who attended our sessions heard it so many times because we are very proud of this. The who to ask is a global database of all of the who to asks, an improved one as well, with new keywords, new areas of expertise. so that you can find anything that you're looking for, simply typing it in without knowing which unit you should be browsing through. So if you type purchasing, you'll find all of the professionals who have a purchasing expertise. If you need to find journal voucher assistance, then you can just type in journal vouchers and you will see folks who can help you with that. And that applies to every transaction type. And we'll continue keeping Who2Ask up to date. So with regular data uploads to make sure that it's accurate, relevant, and as helpful as it can be. So that's at a glance, the landing page and the philosophy of the new website. And I'll just touch upon philosophy really quickly. We spent a couple of years analyzing the feedback from all of you, for which we're very thankful. What you see here, the categorization with 6 main categories, rather 20 or 40, and content organized this way is based on feedback from all of you business managers who wanted a website that is not based on a hierarchy of units within the business and finance organization, but per transactions that you attend to every day with your regular tasks. So this categorization, this content reflects what you wanted on the website. And thank you for your input. Thank you for engaging with us. And as every website, it's a living animal. It will keep changing. So 5 years from now, it will look very different, and it should. So we expect your engagement and your assistance in making this as functional and as good as it can be for all of you. So thank you all again. I'll turn it over to Derek so that he can walk you through some of the content information.
Thanks, Philippe. Yeah, we'll just take a moment here to do a little bit of a deeper dive into the site to give you, some basic framing about where you can find things in relation to where they were on the OBFS site. So like Philippe said, there are these 6 main categories where most of the content is, but also please make sure you're aware of the secondary navigation. This will be on both sets of these or on every single page you go to. So here you'll find those 6 main categories, and here you'll find additional information: policy, forms, news, applications, etc. So accounting and budgeting, very big section. So this encompasses everything you would have found on the OBFS site, from university accounting services within UAFR, from system government costing, from the various budgeting offices, and from sponsored programs. So you'll see accounting and financial reporting here. That's all that UAS content. And they've actually developed a lot of additional content that did not exist before. So not only is it reorganized in a way that better meets the needs of business managers, you're also getting a lot more robust content than you had before. Similar with budget. Now, the budget offices had already put some effort in on updating their content on the OBFS site, so this will be less of a change, but there is some additional things available here. Financial controls and security is a new section that contains all of the FISHA, internal controls, and then fraud and identity theft prevention. And then you've got rate schedules and development, service and storeroom centers. That encompasses that system government costing information. And then finally, sponsored programs. Sponsored programs, as everyone knows, was decentralized years ago, and the OBFS site was still maintaining a really cumbersome structure of many, many pages. We've been able to co-locate all of that useful information into a single page. Buying and contracts is a very big section. So this has everything to do with purchasing and contracts, as well as paying for goods and services. So if you're paying for a service rendered, if you're paying an invoice, if you're buying through iBuy, whatever it is you're doing, all of that information can be found in buying and contracts. So one new element that was created is, if you're looking and finding in goods and services, this is the section where you'll find everything about how you find things to buy. So it could be from diverse vendors, could be from existing contracts. We worked with the purchasing offices to develop this buying specific goods and services page that co-locates all of the general information about buying all the different sorts of commodities that are available. So we definitely encourage you to take a look through that. As you can see, it's very big. And then there's even further information available on child pages within this section. You'll find the paying for goods and services in here. So this is mostly that university payables content. So P cards, T cards, the payables processing status, so you can see where they are. Vendor setup, and then vendor invoice payment. Vendor invoice payment is all of the information about paying vendors. So this is not paying individuals. This is about paying vendors for goods or services. Then we have the paying people section that is specifically about paying individuals. So nothing about vendors, nothing about paying for something that you purchased. This is all about paying people. So you have payroll and benefits, foreign nationals, payments to students, cash advances, reimbursements, and then payments to non-employees. Travel is relatively unchanged. We had a travel section on OBFS. We've maintained it. We've reorganized it. So there are fewer pages to look at, but it's largely unchanged, as is equipment management. That was an existing section. We've maintained that. Again, we've cleaned up the pages, so there's less to dig through, but it is relatively unchanged. And then finally, there's payments to the university, brand new section that has merchant card services or accepting card payments, cash handling, and then a bunch of new and redeveloped content from University Bursar about accounts receivable. This was very hard to access previously. It didn't actually exist on the website. It was strewn across a lot of PDFs. So a lot of new content there about Banner AR. And like Philippe mentioned, we have a new search that will continue to grow. So this is a new website. And since it's a new website, it takes a while for Google to index all of the pages. It's a very, very big website, about 900 pages. So it's a process getting Google to index them all. But as they do, you'll see that we'll add filters down here so you can filter the results. So this is all of the results for that search term. These are the results that exist just in Business and Finance News. These are the ones that exist in the BuzzFin site, excluding Business and Finance News. And the no results in forms, those probably have not been indexed. And then these sections here, those will be added as filters too, as the indexing process continues. But in the meantime, you can get this link to the sitemap. You can Control F and look for things that way. This will show you every single page on the website. And then finally, just a reminder, don't forget about the navigation up here. That's how you get to who to ask. You can get to policies. You can get to forms. All of that will be up here on every page that you go to. And that's essentially it. We can take a moment for a few questions if we have any. It looks like there's some in the chat.
I answered a couple. There is a question, when will the OBFS website be officially removed? The decommissioning process has started already, so you will, if you visit OBFS website, which you shouldn't, but if you do, you will start seeing sections and pages disappearing. There's a constant redirect, so it will keep pushing you to Boston website because no one is updating OBFS website. So we've already started receiving tickets with content updates on Boston website, which means that anything you see on OBFS website is not accurate and you shouldn't rely on that information. And again, like I mentioned, the decommissioning process has already started, so OBFS website will be gone in a near future.
And then as far as like a directory is concerned, in the new templates of the System Office websites, they all have a consistent footer, and you can find all of that information about the directory. All of it's available. It'll be in the footer of basically any System Office website that's currently available. And as far as iBuy is concerned, that is out of our control. That is application support within AITS that would have to change those emails. We have provided them with new links to things, and I'm sure they're going through their normal process to try to get all of those changes in and approved so that those links get updated. But that's why we're maintaining the OBFS website temporarily, just to ensure none of those links break.
Right. Each time you get an email from iBuy with that link, it sends you to OBFS website, and the pop-up will be visible asking you to go to Business and Finance website. Once our colleagues from production support complete their updates within iBuy, then you shouldn't have that worry.
And the MyUI info has been removed as an application because it is not an application. It is just a web series of web pages on the HR site, but you will find links to MyUI info all over the BuzzFin site, particularly in the payroll and benefits section. And then you can always reach out to us at sharedservices@uillinois.edu with any questions or concerns about the BusFin site.
And Derek and Philippe, I know there were a couple of questions in the chat that you guys answered within the chat, but do you want to just address those in case anyone is having trouble opening chat or whatever, just so everyone's getting the same info? So
Sure.
there's one on, yeah, still trying to find various venues in the BusFin site. Where is the payment to vendors section located?
We actually just looked at that earlier. That's in
Okay.
the paying for goods and services.
And then the link for the service desk ticket.
So a service request form is a form. So it's under forms section in the BusFin website. You will see that in the top menu that Derek was showing, or in the main landing page menu on one of the cards. If you go to forms, you will see related forms on the left, and one of them is called service request form. That's the form that you use to send tickets to production support, AITS, and other teams.
All right. So you guys aren't off the hook just yet. We know that you're going to give us sorry, my brain just stopped working for a second. A presentation on the internal controls project. Sorry, I was looking at 3 different things. Thank you.
So now the project, we've been talking to this group for a very long time, and we are finally happy that it's reaching its final stage as well. So Derek, I'll defer to you.
Yes, so if you have a prohibited role combination as defined by policy 9.1.2, you recently received an email about those prohibited role combinations. So this is another opportunity to show the new BusFin site. So if you go here to internal controls, we looked at it briefly earlier. You'll see all of the information about internal controls, and particularly what you really need to look at are all of these training resources. So if you have questions or concerns about internal controls, about prohibited role combinations, what that means for you and your unit, all of these resources are available to you to help you figure that out. One is the prohibited role combinations explained. So you'll find a wealth of information here about what you cannot combine and what you are allowed to combine. And there'll even be a role compatibility matrix that you can download in Excel. Really strongly encourage everyone to look through that. You can also look through the removing prohibited role combinations. So that's going to give you suggestions for not just submitting an exception, but trying to remove those. Everyone, as this says, if you hold these prohibited role combinations, you are required to try to remove them because it is against policy to have them. And then you can also see some separation of duties scenarios, and these are scenarios to help you think through how you could reassign roles while maintaining the necessary separation of duties. You definitely want to take a look at the prohibited role combinations report. So this is how you will know if you or anyone in the units that you support has a prohibited role combination. You can see that there are currently 259 people who currently hold prohibited role combinations. So you can filter this report. So you can filter it down to chart 2. So that way you're only seeing chart 2. And then you can also filter it down to your home college or org code. There is also a resource right here that tells you how to use this report. So if you have any questions, those instructions are available right there. And then you're also able to extract this into an Excel file, which is much easier to explore and manipulate. The Tableau dashboard is a nice sort of at a glance look, but I think we all know that it's kind of hard to dig into the data in those dashboards. So please come out here, make sure you or anyone else is on here that needs to remove those prohibited role combinations, because if you have that, you have to take action by the end of May. If you have a prohibited role combination and you do not take any action to either remove it or submit an exception request, you are at risk of having your access removed. So everyone is required to take some sort of action by the end of May. Preferably, that is removing the prohibited role combination. If you are unable to remove it, this is often the case for smaller units. You just don't have the staff available. to implement the required separation of duties, you can fill out an exception request. So you can do that on the exception requests subpage of internal controls. It walks you through all of the requirements that you have to include in your exception request to get it approved. It gives you a link to the request form. And then it also has a demo video walking through the entire process of submitting an exception request, approving it, and then requesting the roles in the security application. But much like with the BuzzFin site, you can contact us at sharedservices.uillinois.edu with any questions or concerns you have about internal controls and prohibited role combinations. We're happy to consult with you and think through the process with you and make this an easy process. We don't want you to be on your own with this. So you are more than welcome to reach out to us for assistance.
And a reminder went out in March. There will be another reminder coming in April about this, and only those of you who still hold prohibited role combinations will get this reminder. So rest assured that we will keep talking to you and making sure that you are aware of the deadline. But once the deadline passes, AITS will commence an automated removal of these. So an action must be taken. You have to either request an exception, or if you're not using these roles, feel free to send a request to get those removed. That will be the smoothest process. And again, like Derek mentioned, feel free to reach out to us for consultation if you need assistance in how to split these roles and how to best address your situation, and we'll be happy to help you.
And to Lydia's question, yes, if you submit an exception request through the new form, the system will notify you when the expiration is coming due for that exception request. If you submitted a previous exception request, you are still required to submit a new one. If you need to know if you need to submit an exception request or not, this report is the primary source for knowing who needs to take action, right? If that's removing a role or submitting an exception request, you'll know if that person is on this report. And then again, the matrix, everything you need is right here. All you need to do is go to the internal controls section of the BuzzFin site. All of those resources are going to be available right here from that one link that Philippe shared earlier in the chat. Yes, we will be we've actually been reaching out to people with conflicting roles for about 2 years now, and we will continue to reach out to people. But yes, I mean, at the end of the day, it will be the responsibility of the folks in the unit to take action. If they do not, they will be at risk of having those roles removed.
That's right. Please expect an email reminder in April. In May, you will start receiving weekly reminders before they turn into daily reminders. So we'll make sure that this does not catch you off guard.
And we're always here to help you if you need support throughout the process. So don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks, everybody.
All right, thank you. So we are running way ahead of schedule. Kudos to all of our presenters this morning. So we're going to take about a 10-minute break. So if everyone could come back at, we'll say 1:41, and we'll continue on. So talk to you in a bit. welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a chance to stretch your legs or grab a little post-lunch snack. Before we move on to our next session, I did want to ask Philippe, there is a question in the chat about the website. If you could just take a look at that and give us a quick answer. Oh, and if you're speaking, you're muted, so I'll give you a chance to find the mute and read the question. When Googling, results are often OBFS pages, but when you click on them, the page redirects to the main business and finance page. It's frustrating just trying to find something quickly. Will the new site pages start popping up in Google when the old site is closed? And I think Philippe may still be away a little bit. So Nicole, I am not a tech person. I was a humanities major, but I would imagine that that's what's going to happen. I think they're leaving the old one up just a little bit to grab any issues or if there have been any hiccups with the rollout. But I think Google, as I understand it, I think Google goes through and like sort of trawls the internet and then makes the updates. So I'm hoping when the previous one is retired and the new one is up and Google has had a chance to kind of update its stuff, it will get better. But unfortunately, we're just kind of in that middle ground stage right now. But if it's still a problem in like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, you might want to shoot an email to them. I'm sorry I didn't have a better answer for you. And if we see Philippe jump back on, then we'll definitely ask him to answer this for you later. Okay. Moving on, I'm gonna turn things over to my co-host Bernadette, who's going to talk to us a little bit more. She's going to give us a reminder on the business and finance employee orientation that's offered to the universities. Hi, Bernadette.
Thank you, Stacy. Yes, so the University Outreach Office is offering a business and finance employee orientation. We've been offering this for the past, I would say, 1.5 years or so. And this orientation focuses on providing an overview of the offices of the CFO and within the office of the CFO by identifying the primary functions in the office of the CFO and its related units, reviewing the University of Illinois systems components and overall reporting structure, by providing information about business and finance training and development opportunities, and also by examining the business and finance resources on the new BizFin website. We recommend this orientation to really any business and finance employee that is either new to the university or new to a business and finance position. The orientation provides a very nice overview of the CFO offices and other business and finance units that a new employee will regularly interact with. The orientation is offered every other month, and currently the registration can be found on the new business and finance website. The link is included on this slide. And the next upcoming dates for the orientation are April the 23rd and June the 6th. If anyone does sign up for this orientation, and if you see that there is no room available, please let either myself or Stacy know. We keep a wait list, but for the most part, we want to be able to provide this orientation to whomever is interested in it, so we will make space for you. Please keep the orientation in mind when you have new business and finance employees joining your colleges or units. We've really received very positive feedback from attendees, describing it as just a nice opportunity for them to get some basic information on where to find trainings, certification information, policies, and really unit contact information so they know who to go to when they have questions. If you have any questions about the orientation, please feel free to reach out to either myself or Stacy. And again, if you sign up and are having any issues, or if you find yourself on the wait list, please just let us know and we'll do our very best to get anyone into the orientation on those following 2 dates.
Thank you, Bernadette. And yeah, I agree. We will get you in. That's not even a problem at all. I did want to let Nicole White and everybody else know, Nicole, regarding your question, I did reach out to Philippe. He's in the middle of something right now, but he will type in a response to your question. It will probably be much more understandable than the one I tried to give once he gets a second to. But I just wanted to let you know, keep an eye out on the chat for that. And when I see that has been posted, I'll let everyone know.
I'm here. I
sorry,
can
never
respond
mind.
really quick. Yes. So
Thank
someone asked for the sitemap for the BuzzFin website. The sitemap can be found if you click on search, and then the results are visible at the bottom, while the link to the sitemap is right there. And I will send another link to all of you here for the sitemap. And the question from Nicole is, when Googling, you still see OBFS results. This is up to Google to take a while to index the new site, and it's decommissioning the indexed pages within OBFS website. So those are slowly disappearing, but when we truly switch the OBFS website off, then they will be automatically off, because then there won't be anything else to index. So right now you are in this kind of limbo of both OBFS pages and also BuzzFin pages. But if you start looking for the search results within the BuzzFin website and go onto the BuzzFin tab, you will see the most up-to-date and accurate results when Derek was showing in that search at the bottom. So it will take a while for Google to index BuzzFin website, but the search engine within BuzzFin website is already providing accurate results. So it will take a few weeks for Google to fully index the BuzzFin website as well.
Okay, thank you, Philippe. And how about that? I wasn't too far off, so I'm pretty proud of myself.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so we're gonna put Bernadette in the hot seat again. She's gonna talk to you about the 2024 Business and Finance Symposium, giving you an update on that.
Thank you, Stacy. So yes, everyone, we are very excited. The Office of the CFO is sponsoring the Business and Finance Symposium that will be offered at all 3 universities in the fall of 2024 and will be managed by our office, University Outreach. We expect the symposium to be an annual offering, barring any unknown circumstances, but this will be a half-day in-person event that will provide information on timely business and finance topics that apply to business managers at all 3 universities. The symposium is currently scheduled for October 10th of 2024 at UIS and for October 22nd, 2024 at UIC. So please mark your calendars for those dates. Our office is currently working on the offerings. We're utilizing our unit subject matter experts and our advisory committee members at both UIC and UIS to come up with, a very timely agenda for these symposiums. So please look out for an invitation. Please look out for an invitation. I think someone has their.
I got
There we go.
I muted them. Yeah, sorry, Bernadette.
No problem. Just a reminder to look out for your invitations coming in late August, early September of 2024. And please note, just due to space constraints, there will be a cap on the amount of attendees at all 3 universities. So please just do your best to register as soon as possible so that you can guarantee yourself some space at the symposium. And again, as I said, we're really looking forward to this larger symposium for people to come together and just have half a day of just very timely business and finance information coming your way, and an opportunity for people to see each other. We've had some of these meetings coming out of our office in the past, and they've always been a success and just a nice way for everyone to touch base with one another. So we're looking forward to this. If you have any questions, as always, please feel free to reach out to Stacy or myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernadette. And it's probably going to be, because it is a half day, I would imagine it's going to be in the morning, in case anyone was wondering. We're still ironing that out, so it could change, but I would imagine we'd do that first thing so that everyone has a chance to go back to their desks. But we'll definitely confirm that once we finalize everything with the rooms and with our speakers and their availability and everything. So our next presenter on the digital mailroom is not quite here yet because we are still running early. So I'm going to skip on to the next one, which is the Office of Procurement Diversity updates and a diverse vendor introduction of Intech. So I'm going to turn things over to Nadia Torrance. Do I have the right name? I feel like I'm using the wrong person.
Correct.
Nadia, okay, I'm so sorry. Thank you. So many things happening today. Thank you, Nadia.
It's fine. I definitely understand. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the call today. My name is Nadia Torrance. I am the Business Operations Specialist for the Office of Procurement Diversity, where we oversee vendor diversification to proactively help minority-owned businesses, women's, persons with disabilities, and veterans become qualified and help them find opportunities within the university that lie at hand. So thank you again for joining. I would like to introduce Christine Street. She is the Senior Account Executive of Intech Innovations, where they manage telecommunications and more. So I will pass the mic over to Christine and let her dive more into that. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Nadia. I appreciate this opportunity. I'm Christine Street. I'm with Intech Innovations. I am the Senior Account Executive here, and I cover all of the university accounts across the state of Illinois, as well as several other verticals. I'm excited to be here today, so again, I thank you. I also have on the call as well our President, John McCreary, and our Director of Operations, which is Ben Baratke. I did kind of make a little presentation just to keep me on track, so I'm going to go ahead and share that real quick. Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So basically, Intech is an AV company. We do audio video services for all the state of Illinois, from Chicago down to St. Louis. We do managed services as well. So if you're looking for a company to manage your AV resources on staff, we can do that as well. The first thing I wanted to do, though, was to kind of start with an introduction. Ben Baratke is on the call. I'm going to bring him up first, just because he is traveling. He is our Director of Technical Operations. And I wanted him to kind of go over a little bit about our process for AV. We have adopted the AV 9000 process, and would like for him to talk just a few minutes about that so I can get him back on the road, as I know he's traveling today and we kind of jumped on early. So Ben, if you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about AV 9000.
Absolutely, and thank you for the introduction, Christine, and thank you everybody for the opportunity to present. So a little bit about Intech is we are trying very much so to develop and kind of maintain the best practices that have been established by the governing bodies in our in the areas where we work. So for the AV 9000, it's more of a quality management system where we are double checking our progress and ensuring that the products that we're delivering are going to perform as intended. Making sure that everybody, from customers to, our own internal people, have a very clear idea of what is going to be delivered and what is the end product is going to be. So in having these standards and everything established up ahead of time, we are able to ensure that the system that we deliver is going to perform the way that it is intended and meets everybody's expectations. So that's something that, as we build it out, it also gives us the ability for the people that decide to utilize our managed services, gives us an advantage of being able to identify products that are on the way to potentially having a failure or other things along those lines. And it's something that is basically the best way for us to ensure our deliverables are what they say they are, and everybody has a very clear understanding of what that end product is going to be capable of.
Great. Well, thank you, Ben. I appreciate you jumping on real quick. I know you're traveling, so thank you for jumping on to just kind of go over that real quick with us. Next, I'm going to turn it over to John McCreary. John is the president of Intech and obviously our veteran owner. And John, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Sure. As Christine said, John McCreary. I started Intech almost 17 years ago now. And when we started it, we were just a small company trying to work on local corporate customers. I'm sorry, I'm having a little difficulty speaking today. But 2 years ago, we brought Christine on, and she has a really big background in higher ed. And we've been really gaining some traction there, but wanted to make sure that we didn't give up any of our standards that we've developed over the years. I want to make sure that everything we present is top quality. And that involved bringing Ben on this year to make sure that our technicians are all trained properly and everything is continuing to be the best product possible. Christine had mentioned that I'm veteran or disabled veteran. I served just 4 years in the Army back in the late 90s, and I was medically discharged. After getting out, I looked for work in the type of industry that I was in while I was in the Army, and that was communications. We worked on basically mobile cellular telephone company type equipment. I was looking around and not really finding anything that felt right. And thankfully, I was introduced to audio video by a friend of mine. He took me to a commercial integrator, and I was thankfully offered a job while I was there. The very first job I was on had technology that totally blew my mind. I'd always liked audio video equipment and played around with it all my life. But when I was introduced to it commercially, I was in love instantly. And here we are 27 years later, and I'm just in love now, just as much in love now as I was back then. It's just a fantastic industry. Obviously, there are days that I don't love, but by and large, it's been the best trip I could imagine.
Awesome.
So in a nutshell, that's where we're at.
Yeah, thank you, John. So really, what Intech is all about, like we said, we are a veteran-owned company. We do procurement of the audiovisual equipment as well as design engineering. We do programming. We've probably programmed 80 to 90% of the systems as a subcontractor for the university. But we're looking to see what we can do to have more of a direct relationship with you. Installation services, system commissioning, where we actually come in, we commission the system. We can also do third-party commissioning. So let's say you have another integrator doing the work, and you would like to have another separate company, a third-party company, come in and do the commissioning. That's a popular practice. So I'm not sure if that's something you guys are doing or not, but it's something that we can offer. We obviously do project management. Managed service agreements are becoming very big, whether it be a full service agreement, including labor and hardware, or whether it be just a block of hours for engineering, programming, and services. We do offer all of those things. Another offering that is coming very soon is going to be a rollout of something called AVIMA, which stands for Audio Video Integrated Management Assistant. I don't expect you to remember that. But we shortened it to AVIMA, and basically what it's going to do is it's going to talk to all of your AV systems that have control in them, which are your more hefty designed AV spaces, and be able to give one person the ability to, or multiple people, the ability to log in and see the health of all of those systems at once in one dashboard. To be able to get alerts when something has gone down or when there's a problem in a room. We understand, especially over COVID, your AV, your technology and your video capabilities have blown out of the water, and you don't probably have enough people on staff to support that equipment. So we would like to be on your team. We want to help your team support your system. So how can we be that extended arm for the university? So AVIMA will help us do that. basically what we have done was created a system that was going to be more of a low cost for the universities, because you have a lot of rooms deployed. So keep it in that low cost for the university, but be able to deploy it throughout the entire university. And like I said, keep you from having to constantly try to hire more people. As we know, hiring is very hard in our industry because there's not a lot of trained people in AV. So that's one way that we're going to help assist you through a help desk with a VIMA. So that will be coming here in 2024. So I wanted to mention that. In higher ed, the most commonly requested projects that we're looking for are your basic classrooms, so basic presentation room, your hybrid learning spaces, and your active learning classrooms. We do all of these. In your conference rooms, presentation only rooms, video conference rooms, board rooms, your executive offices, all of those. Auditorium and lecture halls, recording studios. We've gotten a lot of requests in the last year for recording studios. So if you haven't started to develop this yet, definitely start talking about that. Digital signage, we can help you with digital signage platforms throughout your university, and video walls, of course. So those are the most requested. Obviously, there's a lot more than that to AV, but that would be like my, most requested list for higher education. As we talked, we're veteran owned and operated. One of our operations manager is actually also a veteran. So we're pretty structured, fun, but structured. So we try to keep a pretty good tight ship on things that are going, and love that part about this company. As well as, let me touch back on the veteran part. So we are certified with the state for the Service Disabled Veteran Owned Small Business, so the SDVOSB. We are also certified for PBE, so Persons with Disabilities. So procurement wise, if that means something to you, great. But we would love to have that relationship with us. And then again, we're on your team. So we just want to be a part of your team, an extension of your AV team or your IT team, and see what we can do to help the university with their AV projects. Why do you want to work with us? Well, we're pretty delightful to work with and easy. I can say that. We like to develop long-lasting relationships. So most of our relationships up to this point have been as a subcontractor for you. So we would love to have some more direct relationships with you as well. But subcontracting is fine too. Whatever way that we can work with you and help you design and implement those systems. We want to embrace the process and enjoy each project that we do, which we do. We always do what's right because of our ethics that I'm very strong about. I've been with a couple of different AV companies, and so I can tell you that InTech always does what's right. And that's one thing I love about this company now that I've been here about 3 years. Procurement made easy. How can we make it easy? Help me understand how you guys work so that we can make this easy. We're always open to new ways to collaborate. So if there's a different way to collaborate, please let us know. And we're happy to embrace those. And always embrace the technology. Technology is ever changing. It's always entertaining. And we want to be there to help you walk through that. Is there any questions that anyone might have about our AV services? No? Okay. Well, that was really all that I had planned. I appreciate your willingness to meet with us today and to reach out to your departments and see if they have any audio video needs that we can help with and work with the university. For me, I'm learning the procurement process. So if I ask a lot of questions, I'm trying to understand what your procurement process looks like. I believe I've met with Erin a couple of times on this. So just trying to understand how we can work with the university. So thank you for your time today.
Yeah, thanks, Christine. And Erin Rosenthal from UIC Purchasing and Contract Management. Just wanted to put in a quick plug. We've been talking to Christine and her team. I understand they're already doing some great work at our counterparts in Champaign-Urbana. So certainly please keep her and her company in mind if any of your needs should align. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to echo Erin. Thank you to Christine and her team for meeting with us today. And if we get any questions after the meeting, Christine will be sure to get those over your way. So thank you again. Thank you again so much.
Thank
I
you.
certainly appreciate your time today.
Yeah. And so we have one final presentation. We're going to turn things over to Carrie Canaday, who's going to give us some updates on the digital mailroom project. So Carrie, take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. Wanted to talk a little bit about source to pay today, and I'm going to save the digital mailroom status update till the end. What I've been doing with groups this spring is kind of taking you through the source to pay historical timeline pretty quickly at a high level. We want to show you what we've accomplished, and then that will hopefully put the picture in your head of where we're going and what we're still working on, and how everything is benefiting you. And then I will show you kind of the timeline for what we have labeled stage 4, and the digital mailroom project fits into that. So let me get started here and talk a little bit about what we've accomplished in the past. Source to pay, we started our first project. It was stage 1 back in 2019, and we had a project where we worked on our requisition and PO data, and we made some improvements in that area to get us ready to implement Contracts Plus. So we implemented Contracts Plus to replace ICS, and at the same time, we worked on our travel reimbursement and expense management tools, and we implemented Chrome River. That launched at the end of 2021, and that system replaced TEM. And with Chrome River, our goal there was to really give the users a better experience and better user experience. And then we moved into stage 2 of source to pay, where we worked on AP Director, and that was all around invoicing, or not invoicing, I'm sorry. Trying to remember here, it was an upgrade from AP Express to AP Director. So that was on the electronic side, turning some of that data electronically. And at the same time, we also had to go back and work on capital program contracts and get those moved into Contracts Plus. And then we also worked on our legacy contracts. And so we moved all of our contracts data into Contracts Plus, which included building like a feeder for the research side. That also went to Contracts Plus. As we got through those, we were into stage 3, and we worked on some necessary integrations around improving data and reporting. During that time frame, we also worked on our strategy overall, and the university decided that we needed to work on invoicing, and we wanted to move our invoicing from Banner to iBuy. And that strategy is what created stage 4, which I'm going to talk more about today. And so we put a lot of effort into this strategy to get ready for invoicing. And with doing the work to our integrations, we found that we still had some POs that were created in Banner that weren't available in iBuy. And then we also found that we had some POs in iBuy that went through a change in Banner, and those changes weren't being reflected in iBuy. And so we spent like the last 6 months working on that and remedying those problems, and that will take us back to December 1st of 2023. And so you'll remember we made some changes to the PO change process at that time, and we kind of fixed a lot of those issues that I just described. And we are finally at a point where all purchase orders are created in iBuy, and all that data flows to Banner. So that's very positive and very good because Banner is still our system of record and where all the payments are made. And so I'm going to go ahead and move on and talk about the stage 4 timeline. Stage 4, as I was explaining earlier, is all about invoicing, and we are trying to add automation to our invoicing. And so to do that, we are going to implement a tool called Digital Mailroom. And Digital Mailroom is a tool that University Payables will use to handle their invoicing. And so today, before we have Digital Mailroom implemented, we're currently using an OCR service that requires operators to manually key in data that then feeds to Banner. And then once that information gets into Banner, it goes to the accounts payable side, and University Payables has to take a lot of manual steps to kind of supplement that data into the invoicing process. And so we want to improve all that, because not only is it going to help accounts payables, but it's going to help the university overall. It's going to improve our supplier relationships. It's going to give us more strength to be more strategic with some of our suppliers. And at the end of the day, it's going to help turn this invoicing around and get faster payment cycles so that we pay all of our vendors faster and accurately. And so that's what we're currently working on. We're in the middle of phase 2 right now of stage 4. It's labeled on this timeline as migration. And what that basically means is that we're implementing that Digital Mailroom tool, and we're migrating the current process of OCR and going to Digital Mailroom. And so this will impact all the invoices that come into the university by mail. They will now route with a different email to Digital Mailroom. And in order to make that happen on the supplier side, we will actually onboard those suppliers into Digital Mailroom. And we will start that process sometime towards the end of the spring. I'll have more information next month to kind of let the university know when that should be happening. We would like to have Digital Mailroom implemented before the end of June. And then on this timeline, you could see phase 3, which is labeled refinement. And so that period is really going to be all about onboarding suppliers to Digital Mailroom. The university has thousands of suppliers, so we will onboard those suppliers groups at a time, and it's going to take us a few months to get that work done. At the same time that we're onboarding suppliers, we're also going to continue to improve our data and improve our reporting. Since we're going to have more data in iBuy, because we're pulling all the invoice data in, we know that there's going to be areas of improvement that we're going to need to make on our workflow. We know we're going to have to work on our business processes and our overall ingestion into iBuy. So just kind of wanted to paint that picture about the work there that's going to continue on the iBuy side with source to pay. To talk just a little bit more in detail about Digital Mailroom, we kicked this implementation off in January. We are probably 25% complete with that implementation at this point. We are working in round 2 of testing. So we're working with payables and purchasing, and we are running scenarios through our test environment to watch that invoice process to make sure everything is happening the way it should, to get ready to go live with this, hopefully before the end of June. There's no risks or issues currently right now in the project. So I will pause there and see if there's any questions.
Yeah, so it does look like there's a couple questions in the chat. Sharon, I just want to check in with you. It looks like you found the FabWeb application. So are you good there? Okay, well, we'll move on. So, yes, okay. So Carrie, the first question is, does this affect people who submit invoices through email or how business managers view where the status of an invoice payment stands?
Do we have anybody on University Payables on the phone right now that maybe wants to help me with this question? I will say, this would be invoices that come in through the mail and go to Rantoul to our OCR processing today. So we're actually going to shift that to digital mailroom, and the suppliers will go through an onboarding process to understand how that's going to happen. We will have more information about that later this spring. And Melissa or anybody from Payables, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, Carrie, I don't think it's going to impact people at the beginning who submit invoices through email, but as Carrie stated, we are going to have a lot of changes in this process. So a vendor welcome letter will be going out with instructions on vendors on how they should submit invoices directly. So it will be a process that it changes. But as far as how business managers view the invoice payment status, once it's fully approved in iBuy, that information will be available in Banner. But if you're talking about maybe invoices that you see on hold that are currently in BDM, the invoices will no longer reside there. You'll have to look in iBuy to find out if that invoice is on hold for some reason. And then the next question about having some unit approval options. There are abilities to set up different unit approval queues within iBuy. That will probably require, and Carrie maybe can speak more to this, but as we go forward, a meeting with your unit to have a one-on-one discussion about what your needs are. But the process is to get the invoices directly from the vendor into iBuy, and then they would flow into an approval queue. We hope to greatly reduce the number of invoices that are going to units first, just so we have an accurate picture of all of the things that are waiting to be paid, and we have them staged in the system. So as soon as the units provide approval, then that can move forward to the payment process.
And it does look like there's another question in the chat for Carrie or Melissa. Will there be copies of vendor invoices in iBuy so we can review when needed?
That's kind of a complicated question as well. So we do have vendors that submit purely electronic invoices. Those are like Office Depot right now. If anybody uses Office Depot and reviews their invoices in iBuy. So they're submitting a data stream, and iBuy turns that into the appearance of an invoice. So you can see what they billed, the quantity, the description, the price. We do have some vendors that are doing a sort of hybrid PO flip electronic invoicing where they are also invoicing against that PO, but they're not required to provide an invoice copy. And then when we move to digital mailroom, the images that were in BDM will now reside in iBuy. So we sort of have a couple different flavors of invoicing that is happening. And there's,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was just opening up the chat. So the
You're good.
hospital has vendors submitting EDI invoices through their internal ERP. How will this affect them? Mike, I am not sure if I have an answer for you on that one. Today, we might have to add that to Carrie's list to have a discussion after this meeting to figure out what that process is.
And then to that point, Carrie did say you can email her, and she's got her email there in the chat. With any questions about adding a unit's approval option, she'll take that to the team and get back. So if you have additional things, you can send the emails that way. And then another question, will the historical data, including attachments from BDM, be available after the transition?
Yes, so, we obviously will work with AITS on any sort of retention guidelines that we have. And as long as BDM is a stable environment and we don't have any security risks for having that out there, I'm sure it will remain. That will be more of a discussion as we progress through this project. But yes, the historical data will be there for a while, and if it is going away, we'll be communicating what dates that will happen.
Okay, any other questions?
Stacy, this is Carrie.
Sure.
I've written down Mike Fitzgerald's question, and I'll take that back to the team and reach out to him with what I can find out.
Awesome, thank you, Carrie. If no one has any other questions, and if for any of our presenters, if you think of anything down the road, you can either send that question to us and we can move it along, or if you you'll have a copy of the presentation, so you'll have the email addresses for most everybody. So I would just like to thank all of our presenters today. We had a lot of information to share with you. And so we appreciate your time. We hope you found all of this information useful. Just as a quick reminder, you will receive a link to the recorded presentation. And we hope to see you all for our next meeting on May 22nd. And that's all we got. So have a great day, everyone. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thank you.